Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of Office Hours. I'm joined this week, thankfully, by the wonderful Flo. How's it going, Flo?
Oh, good. Thank you, Matthew. And you?
Yes, all good, all good, all good.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
So we have to wait 10 minutes like the other day.
Yeah, start the timer. Have you had a chance yet, Flo, to try out GPT-5's codecs?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not play around with it. I was waiting a bit.
Yeah.
I always wait a bit more with OpenAI releases.
I remember you told me.
Because I like to ship fast, but sometimes a bit too fast. So I like to wait a bit. Did you? Did you play with it?
No, not yet, not yet. I mean, you might have a point, to be honest with you, because when they launched it, I heard good things, but I haven't heard anything since. So maybe they did actually nerf it after launch.
Yeah, don't know. But I played around with the Google AI Studio, and to be honest, I did a pretty good job. Huh? Really.
I haven't checked it out. Is it just called what's it called?
Google AI Studio,
Okay.
and there you can have a chat to play around with Gemini models, and you have the stream so you can talk in real time, like with OpenAI basically, with ChatGPT, and you have another button to build, and so basically it's just using Gemini coding models to code for you, and it's pretty fast. It's super interesting.
Hey, Anton.
Hi, Anton. So yeah, we might use some Gemini models behind the curtain, maybe, because it's super fast, super fast. I was really impressed. That's why we did it. So we'll see with the new version coming.
Yes, I've gone down the rabbit hole now. I opened up Google AI Studio, and they've got a section for Nano Banana, the one that generates videos and pictures, and it's like Mid-Journey, where they have a public gallery of the most recent generations. And now I'm just down a rabbit hole of seeing everyone's recent
Yeah,
generations.
definitely. And you will scroll
Easily.
endlessly.
If you want to, we've got time now, Anton. So if you want to, you can join us, and we can try and tackle the issue with the auto height, because it would definitely be a tricky one. Yeah, I guess you would have to get the element and then do some jiggery pokery to figure out the height of it for your. And I think you've joined us. Hey, Anton. Can you hear us? I think he's still just setting up his camera and mic. Hello.
Hi, Anton.
Hello. Yeah, I'm finally here. Uh, I'm, I'm connected to hear you without any delay, because when I hear you from
Nice.
the YouTube, I send some message and then I need to wait until you react.
Yes. Nice.
So I was
How's it
able
going?
to make it goes well. Cases I figure out how to make to find if the special case pressed. In some cases, it doesn't work. Like when I try to track meta key, after I click this meta key, it stops working because it switched the focus to the Windows menu, and in the JavaScript variable, I still have true for this meta key. But for Shift and Control, it's working somehow. Let's say somehow. About Tato Hates, I didn't figure out. I have no time. I have no time to try any new variants. What I used to, I've tried some ChatGPT driven solutions, and I've tried some Stack Overflow solutions. And in common case, we can just use, we can take the object which is focused right now, and then we try to calculate the full height, scroll height, as I remember, and then set the scroll height to the height of the element. That's how it works. But somehow it jumps to the initial height in the WeWeb, so it works everywhere else, but in WeWeb it doesn't work.
Okay. Can you show us?
I can try. Yeah. One second. It's a lot of extra windows. I know I had some project which it was working and tried to open it. 1 second. If anyone in the line, I can I can open it
Oh, you're
in the
good for now.
background.
No worries.
Okay. No, but I can show the current project, and we can try to make it together. Boom, 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 on the screen.
I think we might have. I know. Have we lost Anton? No, he's still with us, I think.
Oh, no, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But somehow, yeah, I'm sure you can see it.
Okay, we can see it.
Yeah, somewhere. Let's just. Please load this page. trying to create some dedicated pages for my site tests.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be here. Yeah, so it doesn't work.
Okay.
Let's see. Did I enable it last time? To the size. Okay, it's here. So what's happening? I think I gave. Yeah. To update this script, and now it didn't what it was.
Wait a second.
Let's try.
It's a bit weird. Your code is weird.
Yeah, that's weird because it uses some very strange query selector. It should use just selected from JavaScript.
Yeah, the query selector is weird because between the parentheses, I think it's missing a quote or a comma. Did you print again?
I want to say AI to operate this.
You can select the formula. You click on the formula, so it won't. In here. Yeah, perfect. So it will update immediately directly the formula instead. Oh, I said I want to try out something.
Still doesn't work. Succeeded. Wow.
Okay. You might need to rename documents into www.lib like you had before. Try something inside.
Could you I put some code in the private chat of our restream, Anton. Could you try it? And what you'll need to do is you'll need to give the element an ID. So if you go into if you close the workflow and then go into the ID part of the settings panel, for the element. Yes, you'll need to. So we can hard code it for now to check if it works, but we want to make it dynamic afterwards. So you can give it any ID you want for now. Yeah.
Text.
And now if we go back to that code and just replace the, at the very bottom where we call the function, where we do, could you put it into full screen? In the just the top right list? Yes, it's just a bit easier to read. There we go. Okay, function auto resize. Exactly, yeah. And just change the definition of the input ID to the Oh, you don't need to. Okay, yeah, sorry. You don't need to. I think it's hard coded it there, but we aren't going to use that. So
that's example run.
you can get rid of that part, I think.
Was yeah, but it's we have extra items, and we have to input element. So instead we can use this to show the element.
Let's resize input. I think the way you had it should be okay. I don't know if I'm not enough of a tech whiz to know if console log will actually run the function the way you would expect it to.
It will be shown in the F12 console. It should show the element, the text of the element, if the element is found and modified, and if it will not be found, then we will see the null. That's why I try to log this.
And then before you run this, sorry, open it up once more, Anton. There's one last thing we need to change in the code.
You are written?
No, at the start where we say document dot, we just need to replace this with a WeWeb specific thing. So where you do const L and then equals document dot, if you get rid of the document, and then you can type it, or there's a nice way to access it in like the function editor. If you open up the middle tab where you usually access collections in the formula window, yeah, and then you can click document.
Formula or click.
No, this one.
In formulas or
in the
connect.
in the middle one, the data one. There's a one-click way to, you see document? You can just click that and then it will add it for you there, yeah. So you can type www.lib.getFrontDocument, or you can just access it that way. It's a bit easier.
Okay, let's try. It didn't find the element.
What is the what's the core element you're using again, Anton? Is it a rich text input or one of the long text inputs?
I think that's long text. Let's see. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and then if you go into edit mode, and then just check the styling tab. Okay, yeah, so you've got a long answer with 4 rows. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna try some stuff on my side.
It was working in different projects. Okay. It was working in the projects.
Okay. Do we have other question?
No, it's just this for the moment.
Okay. Maybe, Anton, we can use this as an opportunity to create a custom component. It's not working. Yeah.
I have this update in different projects. Let's try if it's still working there, and maybe we can find out why it is working there and not working in the other project. Yes. No, it is not here.
That's a lot of questions.
No.
It works here.
Nice.
But
While Anton's finding this flow, Eric had a question in the chat. He says, since Flo's here, I had asked this question a while back, but if a Supabase call fails, is there a way to still process the rest of the workflow? And I don't believe so.
No. No, we did not develop that feature to ignore an error, unfortunately. Let me think. Workaround. And to test something, give me just 2 minutes.
No worries. Do you know why the other one was working, Anton?
No, I have no idea why it works there, but doesn't work here. And I've created a new project especially to test this. And I have no idea why I have a clean project and I have the same code, but somehow it doesn't work.
Is it because on this one you have multiple of the inputs on the page, or is only one input on the page?
I don't know. Maybe the old project has old components. Maybe it worked for the old ones. Maybe here we have a new version of the components, and that's why it doesn't work. Maybe.
I am not sure then.
We can try creating a new page without any additional fields. Like gambling.
How are you? Okay, so
Can you do the thing to allow us to do something when AI is thinking? Because now you can't do anything while it's working. You have to wait. If you click something outside your select element, it will break the request and fail.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's quite a big technical limitation for now, enabling different editing pieces while this is working. So yeah, we've discussed it briefly internally, but it's probably not one in the near future just because of how technically complex it would be.
It works the way I was trying to find out why. So it changed the height, but then it jumps to the normal height. And I think something is overwriting the height from JavaScript.
Okay. For this one, Anton, I think I'm going to experiment with it tonight. Either post something on it about it on the forum if you haven't already.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I can send you my code, which is working in other project, and you can try. Maybe you'll integrate this code into the components. Maybe I wish.
Super. Thank you. Yeah, I'll experiment with it tonight, and then I'll DM you on the forum. Actually, well, I'll create. If you don't create a topic on it, I'll create a topic on it so people can find it in the future. I'll experiment with
Okay.
it tonight, and then we can get to the bottom of it.
Okay, I'll create a topic. Thank you.
Super. Right. Okay, and then just the follow-up flow. Well, Eric followed up. He says for edge functions, he builds in soft fails to get around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the direct calls, he doesn't have an option.
Yeah, indeed. So this is really an option we need to add to request actions. So basically, a checkbox where you could ignore an error, so it could be considered as a success. So the workflow could go on, or we could also, and I also like this idea, develop just a try catch action, where you could, in that action, add your request, and then it won't go into an error. So I also like this one. This is something we could develop. For the time being, unfortunately, even if I create a global workflow for this, it would still considered as an error. So could you just tell us a bit more about your use case? I'm pretty curious why you wish to continue the workflow, just for my curiosity. And otherwise, if you really need to do it right now, you need to do it with JavaScript. So you're going to have to use a request, a JavaScript block. And then in that JavaScript block, just ask the AI to make the request to Supabase. Normally, I didn't try it out, but you might have access to the Supabase SDK within the JS block. I need to ask the tech team. But I think this is something you can do. And in that case, you could add the try catch by code. But I'm going really to consider this this request to add this try catch action. So you could definitely do that.
Nice. Fernando said, "Too bad there's no translation into Portuguese. Who knows with the AI developments that are coming? Hopefully, you can understand me when I say that."
Yeah.
And then Eric had another. Actually, I think Eric's joined us, so I won't show the message. She'll let him in.
Super.
Hey, Eric.
Hey guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. How can we help?
Good. Hey, so just wanted to expand on the edge function thing. Is I have edge functions, and I've been trying to do, like, I wanted to do like a if statement after the edge function runs, that if there's an error, then it would, do a different process. And so, but it seems like every time it fails, it just goes to the error state instead.
The error branch, yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, in other systems I've worked with, it just keeps going. It just allows you to do an if statement or something like that.
If it fails, what do you want it to do? The workflow?
I just want the workflow to keep going, or to have an option to say, like if you had a component or something like that says go to the error process,
Okay.
that would be helpful too.
So what you could do is the request should be the last action of your workflow. The rest, you put it into another workflow, okay, a global workflow. And what you could do is to execute the rest. So basically, you make your call to Supabase, and after that, you execute a workflow, okay? And you add the same execute workflow in the error branch. So if you have an error, then it will call the rest in any case. So you could do that.
So even if that subflow or sub workflow fails, it will continue with the rest of the main one?
No, if you have multiple calls, you're going to have to split into multiple workflows and every time add it to the error branch, unfortunately for now. So I really need a try catch action.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be helpful. The other question I had was libraries. I've been trying to use more libraries, but I have two different projects. One is using Supabase auth, and the other is just going to use the tokens.
Okay.
And so I want to share the library between the two. Before, it would automatically disable the library in the second one because I didn't have Supabase auth installed on that second one.
So by library, you mean just the authentication system, not the asset, no? What do you call library, just to be sure? Well,
the library within the assets library within the WeWeb.
So like the components and the typographies and the colors and things like that?
Yep. Because I'm not trying to share the auth, but for some reason when I'm adding the library in that second project, it shows me that there's, the auth is not installed.
Oh, really? Could you show us?
Yeah, let me, hold on just a second.
Maybe because you are using Supabase actions within a component in your library or something like this directly. You might have a dependency to Supabase in your library.
It's not a, it shouldn't be a dependency. But here, let me share. Entire screen, window 4, that one. Which I need to switch.
Cool. We can see it.
Okay. So I go up here and I have, this is from the other, this is from the other project coming in that I haven't added. But if I look at that, that has, I added, hold on just a second. Plugins, I added auth or the token-based auth on here just because I was trying to make it work. Let me remove it here a second. Okay, so if I go to assets library, and then I try to add this one, it shows that I don't have the token-based auth.
Okay, and in your library, you're sure you're not using a token-based auth action in the workflow somewhere?
No, not yet. I will want to use it, but I don't want the components that I want to share between the two projects would not be using the auth at all. Because some of it is just the design stuff that I want to share between the two projects. But then there are some components that I also want to.
And in the, could you go to that project?
Yeah. So it'll be this project, this library.
You've got the libraries, and did you add some plugins in that project? If you go to plugins in here.
Which one is plugin?
Yeah, here.
I may have removed tokens off of here. Maybe I haven't done a publish since.
Okay, so you might need to publish again in that case.
Okay. So when I publish, can I also ask you this, because it's just kind of confusing to me. When I publish, is it only publishing from this project that I'm in?
Yes, for the library you publish, so it's going to create a new version. So you can only publish safely, and then you're gonna have to go to the other projects and update the version if you wish to use the last version. So you can really publish safely. You can make mistakes. It's not a big deal for your other projects because you can always use a previous version.
Okay,
we can try right now if you like.
So I can only publish from one project, but I wouldn't be able to update from another project.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have to go to the other project, update the version, and then publish the project.
Gotcha. Okay. So like for colors or something like that, I'd have to.
You would have to publish and then
go to the
update
original
the version.
project.
Exactly.
Oh.
Normally, you should have a tooltip notification on your screen saying that there is a new update for the library, and if you click on it, it will update the library.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. Sweet. I think that's all my questions for now.
If you want to check, Eric, you can. If there's no issues with publishing, you could publish it now and then check the other project just to make sure you don't have that plugin token-based auth thing, because that is an odd one.
Because if
I don't.
you have the issue where you might have to check out to reach out to the support team.
Yeah.
So we could take a look, because it would be weird.
Although I don't think it would actually cause any issues, even though there is a dependency to token-based auth. I think if you was to still add the library and start using it, as long as there's no components that actually have actions that use the token-based plugin, the token-based auth, sorry, I don't think it would actually cause any issues, even though it's labeled as a dependency.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It seemed like before it would block me from being able to install it, but it looks like now I can install it. I don't know if you guys have made a change or anything like that, but before I would try to install it or add it to this project and it would just not let me. But it looks like it's working now. So
that was after you published the most recent version?
This is, I can do a new one here. I have some components I need to remove out of this one, so. Does that go right away?
I think you need to open the
the other one, and you can refresh, or maybe
I think you need to close this and then open the library panel again.
All right.
Okay, nice.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, super.
Looks like it's working. One other question actually that I did think of. When I publish, I get a error when I deploy. Sorry, I get an error that errors out when uploading to GitHub. I've done a chat, I think, with support or your AI support, which is really good actually.
Thank you.
I've done a chat there that says that it's an icon issue. That there's an issue with icons. Do you know how I would narrow down which icon might be causing that?
Do you know where potentially in your project you're dynamically binding an icon? Like as in binding the path of an icon?
I don't think I am doing it dynamically. Is that the only cause for that?
Yeah, so at least as far as I'm aware, it's if you have like the Lucid icon library and you bind the path of an icon, if you try to do Lucid and then plus whatever else, that would fail it. You have to actually use a concatenate formula, I think. So if you try and combine two different parts of the formula in different ways, actually, no, I don't think you can concatenate it. Sorry, my bad. I think you have to just use the entire string of the icon that you want to define. You can't use any pluses or concatenation. I have to double check, but it's something along those kind of lines. If you're trying to bind an icon, it can cause problems.
Okay. There's not an easy way to try and find, because it could be, would the AI produce something like that? Potentially?
Potentially, yes. You can have the support team. They could take a look, really.
Okay.
Not only the AI one, the real one.
Otherwise, I could probably
don't hesitate to reach out to them, and they can publish with you and take a look in the project for you.
I could probably look through the GitHub code too, right? And try and figure out what page that would be on. But
potentially. I think the easiest thing would be to just get in touch with support, because they could hopefully just quickly scan through your project.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds
Super.
good. Cool.
Sweet.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Eric.
Thank you.
And then following up on the try catch discussions, Flo, Anton put some thoughts in the chat. For the wish list, it could be great to have an error branch inside some kind of try catch action, like we have if else blocks. So actually it'd be nice to have an option to surround them with try catch actions. Yeah.
I agree.
And this will be one for you, Flo. I've never really hooked up GitHub, so I'm not too sure. Anton had another question. He has GitHub connected, but he didn't find anything in GitHub as to how to access custom components in his GitHub. I'm not sure if do they get uploaded if you export the code? Are they part of the project, or is there some kind of different dependency?
No, you should find everything if you deploy to GitHub. So normally you should see all dependencies, all components. You have two things you can deploy. You can deploy the build files, and in that one it's going to be hard to find because it's really the files that can go into production immediately without having to build them. So it's a compressed file and so on. Or you can deploy the source file, and in those files you will find really the code as it is for your components normally. So if you have an issue with that, you should reach out to the support team. But normally you should find everything.
Super.
All right. And I played around with Claude Code to create an auto-ite input based on the current input, and it worked nicely. So,
did it one-shot it?
Yes. So Anton, you could really, I think you can share the doc you've built, Matthew, and maybe you can also take a look, Anton, as you are a tech-savvy user. I think you will you could manage to do it like this and have your kind of own custom components updated like this. It's a bit more technical, but you can do really anything you want, and without having to tinker into an action with JavaScript and so on.
Yeah, I put a link in the YouTube chat, Anton, for a video that was put out last week on how to use Claude Code to create custom coding components. I know, as Flo said, I know you're on the techier side, so I'm not sure if you've experimented with manually setting up custom coded components. So if you haven't tried Claude Code, as Flo said, I'd highly, highly recommend it, or Cursor, one of the AI code gen tools, because you probably can just, as Flo said, one-shot the resizable text input.
Yeah.
Super, right. If there's no other questions, maybe we wrap it up now. I'll give it one more minute, let's see. So Anton followed up about his custom component point with GitHub. He says, I mean, when I work with custom coded components, it requires a GitHub connection by default. And inside the WeWeb project, I can see the update history. Is it saved to GitHub? Or when I export the project, in a GitHub connection by default? It depends, Anton. So is the custom coded component, is it generated by AI, or is it your custom coded component? Because if it's AI generated, then it wouldn't require any GitHub connection, and there wouldn't be any syncing with GitHub. So if it's by AI, then there's no GitHub connection if it's by AI.
All right. Well, for some minutes. So I don't know if you've seen, but Raphael, our CEO, just sent an update in the community on what we're working. So now I can start to talk about it. So I can tease you a bit. This week,
Nice.
I'm going just to tease. And next week, maybe I could show you a bit more, because we are stabilizing many things currently, so it would be easier for me to run a demo, but I can tease you a bit. Let me share my screen. All right. Maybe I can zoom in a bit. So basically, we are going to revamp first the overall navigation. So you will have what we call interface. So this is what you have, really the front-end side. And the menus you have in the top menu right now are going to be in the left-hand side in here. So you'll be able to add elements, to change page, to manage your assets, to manage, you will see all your workflows in here, and even the workflows on your elements. So you will have one place to see all of them. You can see your variables, your formulas, the plugins you have, so the connection to Figma and the debug menu. So basically everything you have currently. We also, and I'll show you that later. And then you're gonna have a brand new tab in here. And so we're going to provide also a backend. So if you are using Supabase or Xano, you will see a Xano or Supabase in that bar in here. So just a link to see all the information we pull from your project, from Xano or for Supabase, a bit like the Supabase backend tab that some of you have. It's going to be like this, but consistent with the styling like this. But for new projects, you will be able to use this, and basically you will be able to create tables, to create some views on top of them. The add table here, you will be able to choose Airtable, many data sources in here. So really, it's working on the back end, so a bit like an edge function in Supabase. So you will be able to pull data from anywhere in a secured way. So basically, you will have authentication, so you will be able to manage users in a better way, roles, some providers to log in with this, and you will be able to create workflows. So it's really like front-end workflows, but those workflows are going to be run on the backend side. So you'll be able to update data, to do some backend logic, and then pull this logic into your front-end application in here. And the nice thing is that we have a view system in here, and you will be able to, for example, add a parameter here, add many filters that you already know it's the same style. You will be able to bind to some context, to user context, and for example, to be able to pull only rows from a user. So you will just have to, in here, in the filter, so if you have a column in here, like if I go here, I click plus, I can select user. So if you have some rows with some user, you can just create a view, create a filter, and then based on the authenticated user. And that's it. You won't have to do anything else. So you will be able to create admin views, just views for some authenticated users. And then you will be able to fetch those views on the front-end side. So maybe I can quickly show you in that one. Yeah. I can change page in here. Also, we updated that. I can simulate someone connected. And in here, for example, the search. So right now you have to create a collection and then bind to this element, and then you have to add the workflow on that element. So it's going to be a bit different now, but you will still be able to do that, of course. But for example, in here, I just bound to my view in here. And if I wish to add a search bar, I just have to click the search bar, go to the workflow, and I can just fetch the table. And the new thing is that you can have it, you see in here, the parameter I added in here. So in here, in that view, I added that parameter in here, and then I can create a filter and say, okay, for example, the name contain, and I can bind to the search parameter. And so now if I go here and I use my search bar and I type in something, it's going to be a backend filter and not a front-end filter, automatically done. No need to do anything else. So then we're going to have many integrations, but I will tell you more next week.
I was hoping you were going to touch on the integrations flow. I could just imagine the amount of time saved with some of those integrations. My personal time saved anyway. I'm counting the hours I've lost to creating PDFs and setting up Google SSO and all the different stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly. So you're going to have many ready-made integrations for doing those kind of things.
Yes, we had some questions and everything. So Eric asked, as you're going through it, does the one place to see your workflows include project level workflows? It would now. So the workflows tab on the left would have project app and I think page workflows as well.
Page, yes, page, and yeah, exactly, and element. So
Yep.
one place to see all of them.
And then Anton said, it looks a lot more like Glide now. I like it. Supabase promised visual workflows in 2021, but still no update on that. Maybe it would help to work around it from the WeWeb side. I suspect so. One of the coolest things is the backend workflows now, because it completely mirrors how you build workflows right now in WeWeb. And the use cases that will come from that, who knows? I mean, even if you just enjoy the flow building interface of building workflows, now you can generate backend workflows using that interface. So I think so.
Yeah. And for those who want to deploy also somewhere, basically you will still be able to export that too. So you will it will export a PostgreDB and the migration files when you are going to push to production and so on, like the devs are doing, and just a Node.js server that could run into a Lambda or serverless anywhere. So it's really standard. So you will be able to deploy anywhere.
A nice suggestion actually from Anton. He says Glide has an option for date filters, where instead of having to put like a certain timestamp or something, they have handy date filters where you can say date equals today or date equals tomorrow or after today, or something a bit more human readable, which is actually, I think, quite a nice suggestion.
I like it. Yeah, we can absolutely do it. But you're gonna have also it's going in the binding. You're gonna have formulas, so you will be able to use them now, the formula now, or those kind of things. So in the views also, we plan you will be able to create some dedicated columns, and in there you're gonna be able to create formulas or JavaScript. So basically manipulating the data and putting the views are going to be a lot more intuitive. You won't have to create dedicated workflows for that. Using views will be a lot handy for those kind of use cases.
And then finally, there was just, as you were getting into it, Sean had a question not related to the new backend stuff. He was just asking, what are the caching options and methods in WeWeb? I'm not too sure, but I think there's only really preserve on navigation for the collections, right, Flo? But is there a bit more to it?
It depends what you mean by caching. By default, your application, when you deploy it, it's in a CDN. So basically, it's replicated everywhere in the world. So the files. So if you are in the US, for example, and you have Australian users, it won't matter. It will work perfectly. But then if it's more like preserving the data when you get back to the application and have the state of these things still appearing, you need to use so preserve on navigation for variables for a session. But if you reload, you will lose it. So if you want to keep that value, the same value when you log in again, you need to save it into the local storage. It's an option you have in the variables.
Yes, and I think I read his second message when I said about preserve on navigation, because his next question was caching for a Supabase collection. So I guess it would be preserve on navigation, or if you really wanted to save it in local, I guess you would have to fetch the collection and save it into a variable that you save into local. Or is there a bit more to it?
Exactly.
Okay.
You would have to do it like this, and otherwise you would have to use a static collection, and we need to know more about your use case.
And then finally, Anton said, I tried to give feedback about the way we see lines, functions, edit rows in the WeWeb functions, edit code in the WeWeb editor, how to make it more handy, showing. I'm not too sure exactly what you mean, Anton. We see lines of functions, edit code in rows. I'm trying to relate it to what you said about Xano, but I'm not sure where in Xano you see certain parts of the.
Yeah, me too. I'm not sure I'm following.
But yes, that's us at the hour. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Flo, for the sneak peek. I cannot wait until we can get this out the door. It's there's so many different use cases. I'm looking forward to it so much.
It's going to be really fun.
Yes. Right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you again, Flo. We are here every Tuesday, 6 to 7 p.m. Central European time. Cheers, everyone. See you next week.
Yeah. See you next week. Bye.